Certainly, Madam Chair, members of the committee. For the record, Melissa Van Gorkum, staff to the committee. Before you is Senate Bill 5674 relating to defining affordable housing for the purpose of using surplus public property for public benefit. By way of background, any state or local agency with authority to dispose of surplus property may transfer property to any public, private, or non-governmental body on terms agreeable to the parties. This includes a no-cost transfer if the property is used for public benefit and the deed, lease, or other instrument transferring the conveying property includes a requirement that the property be used for the designated public benefit, as well as remedies if the property is not used for the designated purpose. The bill before you updates the definition of public benefit. Excuse me, the screen jumped on me. To include affordable housing, which can be rental housing or permanently affordable home ownership, and defines affordable housing as 30% of the household's monthly income for rent and utilities other than telephone for rental housing, or for permanently affordable home ownership, 38% of the household's monthly income for mortgage principal, interest, property tax, homeowners insurance, homeowners association fees, and land lease fees as applicable, and no more than 45% of the monthly household income in total household debt. A fiscal note was not requested. There is a companion, House Bill 1695, that has not yet been scheduled for a hearing, and that concludes my remarks unless there are any questions.
Any questions for Melissa? I am not seeing any, so we're going to hear from the prime sponsor, Senator Frame.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For the record, Noel Frame, State Senator from the 36th District. Excited to bring to you this piece of legislation as part of a number of bills this year to support access to home ownership. Full disclosure, I am a beneficiary of some of our state's home ownership program. I was able to buy my home 10 years ago in the Greenwood neighborhood of Seattle with the state's down payment assistance program. I will say, after my now neighbor and dear friend told me how to do that after she had just purchased her home, and we'll hear from her today. That's Denise Rodriguez of the Home Ownership Resource Center. But the bill before you follows up on some legislation we did last year. In the House Finance Committee last year, we had a provision to have an exemption for the real estate excise tax for transfer of land for affordable housing. And when we started that bill, it was just for rental housing, and we caught it and we expanded it to include affordable home ownership as well. Similarly, this piece of legislation takes surplus property that we already transfer and clarifies that it can be for affordable rental housing and for permanently affordable home ownership. So I commend what is a technical bill to you, but a really good one to encourage home ownership. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Do we have any questions for the prime sponsor? All right, not seeing any. So we have 3 people signed in to testify. Madam Vice Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm hoping these folks are here in the room. Kathleen Hosfeld, Nick Federici, and Richard May.
Welcome, and please proceed.
Yeah, hi, I'm Richard May. I've spent 10 years as a planning commissioner, and I'm currently a municipal official, but I'm speaking on my own behalf here. I just wanted to support this bill language, and I appreciate that for public property in particular here, you're tagging affordability to 80% of the median income or a percentage of the household income, and I think we need to normalize those standards and use this as an example here and in more ways, because the marketplace for housing has taken the essential necessity of shelter and brought us to an unworkable crisis, and housing cost controls need to be applied to more than just public lands. I think this bill and this language is a good part of setting that standard. It's one step in the right direction, and I hope you continue to widen the scope to things beyond public lands with these kinds of standards. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Madam Vice Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My understanding is Kathleen Hosfeld is on Zoom rather than in person, so if we could call her up. And hopefully Nick Federici will make it in time.
He's coming.
Great, thank you.
Kathleen, if you're there, just turn on your camera. There you are. Please proceed.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you, Madam Chairman. I am Kathleen Hosfeld. I'm speaking on behalf of the Washington State members of the Northwest Community Land Trust Coalition. Thank you for hearing Senate Bill 5674, which is a technical fix to previously passed legislation that will open a new resource for building affordable homeownership in Washington State. The single biggest barrier to increasing rates of homeownership in our state is the lack of supply of homes that are priced within reach of everyday people. Our shared goals of increasing affordable housing for all and closing racial home ownership disparities will not be achieved unless we build new homes. Nonprofit developers build homes that are priced for those shut out of the for-profit market, but it takes more than state funds to bring these homes to market. And other state-enabled resources for affordable housing frequently don't work for homeownership. So assuring that homeownership is one of the public benefits for which surplus land can be used will add an important tool to the resources that towns and communities across the state can mobilize to build more homes. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Nick, come on up.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the committee. I am literally and figuratively out of shape for moving back and forth between these. Just got done testifying in the House committee, so my apologies for not being here in a timely fashion. As Kathleen said, so Nick Federici representing both the Northwest Community Land Trust Coalition as well as Washington Low Income Housing Alliance here in support of this legislation. Thank you for this opportunity. This legislation, as Kathleen explained, is largely a technical fix. Several years ago, the legislature put in place policy to allow rental housing or allow municipalities to hand over rental or land for rental housing to a bona fide nonprofit for use for affordable housing. This bill is largely a technical one that would just allow the same thing to be done for home ownership to create those opportunities where there's a nonprofit and a local jurisdiction that can agree on that type of land transfer to happen. So we urge your support for this.
All right, well, thank you very much. I'm not seeing any questions from anyone, so with that, I'm going to close the public hearing on Senate Bill 5674. We're going to open the public hearing